Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Hey guys, just a quick note. We are going to be releasing a midweek podcast on October 21st, and it's going to be all about Pot Swap 2020. We are so excited to get started on doing it, and obviously we want to get going so that everybody gets their pots by Christmas. So just keep your eyes out for that podcast and make sure you listen to it if you have any interest in a pottery swapping Christmas extravaganza. Again, that will be released on October 21st. All right, thanks. Okay, I'm recording. Yeah, somebody, I recently discovered that my voice sounds very similar to the voice from the girl from Two Broke Girls or whatever, that show.
Which one, the dark-haired girl?
Kat Dennings.
I can see that.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know who that is, and then me and my friend looked it up.
Freak you out a little bit?
A little bit. I was like...
Have you ever watched it?
She's got kind of I have.
Like
she's funny.
Interesting personality, and she's like
she's kind of dumb and So, yeah.
All right. So we're hanging out at Queen City Clay with Amy Boullé. Is that the right way to say your last name?
That is the right way to say my last name.
All right. So I know Amy from just being in Cincinnati. We're here in Cincinnati. Becca's here with us. What?
You're too far away.
Yeah, move closer.
It'll project.
Yeah, but we'll be loud and you'll be quiet.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, continue.
All right, so so I know you from Queen City Clay and just local to me and art shows and stuff. So can you tell people who you are and like what you do and
who I am? Well, gee, where to start?
We usually say like 2 minutes. Like
2 minutes. Like
your 2 minutes.
You wanted people to know anything about you. What would those 2 minutes be like? And it doesn't even have to be about clay. Preferably a little bit.
A little bit about clay,
but not.
Okay, so clay related. I've been playing with clay for 20 plus years, but only selling for about 5. So I'm a new kid.
We're about the same. Like I've been selling for like 5 or 6.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, still very, very new on the business side of it and production work, all of that. But married, mom, 4 kids. Wow.
Yeah. So where did
juggling.
Where did the 20 years of clay start? Was that like taking classes locally?
Yeah,
or
that was my mom. Mom that was
really?
Here helping me glaze. Yeah, she wanted to take classes for as long as I could remember, and when I hit my 20s, she decided she was going to do it and didn't want to go alone, so I went along. And that was back when this was Annie's Mud Pie.
Oh, okay. So that was her first class and your first class?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Was that like wheel throwing or hand building or?
Oh, wheels. Yeah, I don't do any hand building really.
Oh, okay.
I've never taken hand building classes.
I guess if you're in like a studio or I guess if you're in like a teaching scenario of like high school or college or whatever, you'll kind of start in hand building, so you kind of learn the
pinch pots,
the basics and stuff of like joining clay and the process. But yeah, you can kind of go into wheel throwing soon too and just like figure it out. That's most people's draw anyways. It's like, ooh, the wheel's so mesmerizing. Everyone wants to see that.
Yeah, it's my mom's fault. She thought the wheel was mesmerizing and just didn't want to go by herself. So
how many what ages are your kids?
Oh, lots of ages. My oldest is 21. And we have a 16-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old. They all level up next month. So November is a big birthday.
4, 17, and 10. 4, 10, and 17
in the house, and then
21.
21 we kicked out a while ago.
Good for you.
We needed the bedroom.
We need the space.
If you're the 21-year-old and you're listening to this, your parents are smart.
He's doing just fine.
You'll do much better anyway.
Yep.
Just awesome. Like parkour and stuff, right?
That's he does,
yeah.
He's the parkour kid.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Do any of your kids like clay?
No.
That's cool.
Not a damn one.
Have they done some stuff like with you in the studio or like?
Yeah, the 3-year-old will still play for about 5 minutes. The 9-year-old liked it when he was 3.
Yeah.
But now, no.
No
Like,
interest.
No interest whatsoever. The middle two don't like getting dirty. So
Don't blame
that
them.
kind of puts them right out of the running.
Yeah.
And the 3-year-old just moves too fast. He's not safe in a studio, so I don't let him really come.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's
Kind of like the zone in on something and just kind of focus and just play versus
he can't do that.
wanting to do something else that's
Yeah.
more energy.
Energy is
yeah.
the key word there. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a fast mover. So yeah, no, I have no one to bond with. It's all right.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes that's good though. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. My parents were never interested in any of the stuff I did, or vice versa. You know, and
It's like your own thing, and you kind
makes
of
you it makes you individual, and it does show them, and you're not forcing it on them. I imagine. So
No,
it shows them that they can be whoever they want to be.
I'm happy for the escape.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's fine by me that this is just my thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think do you think Cincinnati area of other, I feel like there's plenty of other makers to talk to and help your process or ask them what they're doing, and
Yeah,
kind of gives you a way to bounce ideas off, and
Yeah,
and you're in a studio that has so
it's
many
a
people.
nice part about being in the studio is I am definitely a recluse here. I don't know anybody's names. I know everybody by face, unless it's somebody that works here. There are people that I know, obviously, but for the most part, I can just kind of closet away, and then if I feel like I need human contact for some reason, I can go
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of people.
So have you always been making in the studio here and had rental space, or were you doing classes and then you kind of moved to, when did you know you wanted a space of your own?
Yeah, I was still doing classes when I started selling, and I would just sell the stuff that I made in class.
Yeah. Doing the local class,
Yeah.
the local sales at the studio and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then got a private space 3 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe, before I really needed it, and
Well, that's
grew
good to
into it
grow
and
into
then
it, yeah.
outgrow it, and that's kind of what I'm doing now too. It was way too big for me when I went into the current space, and now I'm outgrowing it. So
Yeah, I saw you had a pug mill in there.
yeah,
Okay,
Had you had a pug mill?
I love
For a while.
my pug mill.
to give perspective on how big her space is, do you know this?
10 by 20
It's 10 by 20.
is the
So that's
current one.
2 of those booth spaces.
Two of the
for-
pop-up tents, yeah.
2 of the pop-up tents, which, when they're open walled, look like a large space, but
But really, it's not.
but
Yeah,
really
once
it's
you get all
not
the
that
shelving
not
and-
that huge. But she had a pug mill in there, a kiln in there, a
Wheel.
lounge chair.
A lounge chair
A-
for when the kids had to come with me for a while.
Yeah, a wheel and some
Yeah.
tables, and I mean it fills up.
Yeah.
It fills up.
Yeah, the new studio space will be double that.
Oh, okay. Are they charging you double?
No.
Ah!
Nice.
There you go.
They're we have plenty of room to go around.
That's the joy of the new space. Yeah, it's huge, and the price per square foot is, they think, going to go down by half. It's $2 a
Nice.
square foot now, and they think it's going to go down to $1, but it'll be $150 a square foot max. They're still waiting on bids for.
How many spaces they can have, and then,
Well, they're
pricing
still
it that
running
way.
electric and plumbing, and they've
Yeah.
still got infrastructure kinds of things in there
Oh.
that they have to pay for. So that will affect the price per square foot.
Yeah.
But it won't be more than $1.50 a square foot. So even
That's
that
so
I can
cool.
swing. Yeah.
So you
what's-
pay $400 now
Okay.
for your little space. And are there any other amenities other than your space that
I
you
think
get?
so, yeah.
Yes,
Because
let's
we've
talk
got
about
the
that.
retail here, so I don't have to buy clay in bulk, which is great for my bank account. I can literally just buy a box of clay at a time. I don't
Right.
have to get 300 pounds at a time.
Actually, that's a good idea.
That is
I
a-
didn't really think about that. Do
that's
they
a
have
good
storage
point.
for I have this shelving for my clay storage? Because I would assume most
They
people
just
buy
never
it
run
one
out.
off.
Yeah, they stock really well here. So
Yeah.
my glazes,
Okay.
I almost always get here just a jar at a time, unless I'm
Yeah.
ordering larger quantities of things. The clay, I can do a box at a time.
Yeah.
They take care of all of the plumbing, so they've got the clay trap in their sink, and I don't have to worry about any of that.
Right.
They do clay recycling here, so if there's sludge that I can't fit into my own storage buckets or just don't want to mess with, it can go into theirs, and it all just goes into their
There's central
recycled clay.
reclaim. Yeah.
Yeah.
that they use for classes. So
I feel like maybe we should pause and because I didn't
explain backstory.
explain what
Where
Queen
we're
City
at,
Clay
yeah.
is because I didn't know what Queen City Clay was until
Yeah.
we came here 10 minutes ago.
There you go.
And so who wants to explain it?
You want me? So, Queen City Clay in Cincinnati is a teaching facility. They run classes for people who just are adults who want to come in and learn how to do pottery, and they do hand building, wheel throwing, sculpture, specific classes like things focused on bakeware, drinkware. Ben does bar classes sometimes.
They have like specific firing classes, like soda firing.
Soda
class.
firing. They've
Yeah.
got a wood kiln. They've got a salt kiln. They do raku and atmospheric firing. So it's a really broad range of classes that you can take. They do school programs. They do programs for companies that want to come in and do team building. In the before times, that was a big thing.
Right.
Before COVID, just
Right.
shut that shit right down.
Yeah.
But they also have a retail facility here. Where they stock-
For other potters and
Yes,
stuff.
for anybody. You can come in and buy glazed materials, commercial glazes, clays,
Yeah.
tools.
Which is the main way that
shebang.
I use Queen City Clay is to buy my clay and to buy any
Yeah.
tools or any.
We picked up
I was
dry
gonna say, I don't know.
materials.
Yeah,
for
I picked
him
up dry materials before.
right now. Also, when we were walking around, I would say that it's probably about 10, 15,000 square feet, maybe 20,000
Probably,
square
yeah.
feet of space. So, like, that kind of gives anybody who knows what that is a
Yeah,
perspective.
It's a big series of warehouse spaces, basically, that
Mhm.
have all been strung together into classrooms and
Yeah.
studio rental spaces for people who want to rent their own space. So,
And then the
it's-
next space is going to be like 3 times that size?
It's more than double. I don't know if it's
Okay.
all the way to 3 because it's on different levels, whereas this is all on one
One.
level that kind of snakes through the building. The new space used to have a parking garage, and like it's big.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's double plus, at least. It might be like 3 times the current square footage.
Yeah.
Are they going to transport the wood kiln
Yep.
and all the kilns and stuff?
Yeah.
That's sad because they just built it like months
Yeah,
ago.
but if you talk to John Steen, like he didn't build it well, according to him. He's like, yeah, we kind of slapped it together to see how it was
Well,
going
that's
to work.
good. You kind of get a
Because
first
they
iteration
probably
and
knew.
quickly
Yeah.
improve it.
Yeah, they've got a really great teaching staff here, and Ben Clark and John Steen are kind of heading up how the new space is going to be set
That's
up.
awesome.
John's big on wood firing. That's kind of his baby to play with.
Yeah.
I think the new place is going to have 2 wood kilns, actually,
Oh, nice.
if I'm remembering right.
I've never done a wood firing.
If you're
Done
living
some
in
in
Indiana,
college.
you can come visit now.
I know.
Be a lot closer.
Yeah.
This better come out after that, right? That episode airs. Yeah.
Edit. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's totally fine. We'll leave.
But
that
yeah, there's
little
tons
nugget.
of stuff to do here at Queen City Clay, and then yeah, there's a range of skill levels of people that just want to like dabble, and then like
100%. Most
rental-
of the people
most people
here are
rent.
hobby potters. Yeah.
yeah,
They're here because a lot of people are retired, I'll be honest.
right.
Got a lot of retired folks that have built a really great community here. There are some people my age that are still in parent mode and juggling kids and trying
Yeah.
to do a business. But a lot of it is people who, if they sell, it's on a very small scale because they're making things and they might as well sell them.
Yeah, they're trying to like pay for their studio rental, or
Right, or just to not have boxes
Stuff
and
piling
boxes
up.
piling up in their basements, you know. And they're good. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a really great
I was
community here, I think.
there's like we walked around and I was so surprised. Not surprised but impressed
There you go.
by like especially there was like some sculpture lady that's just like,
Oh my
holy
gosh.
freaking crap!
Yeah.
Like I was like, wait, these are made by a human? Like what? And then there's some amazing like raku stuff and just everything. And like the big sculptures and stuff. I was really cool.
Yeah.
It was
a
really
lot of
cool.
good stuff. If you're in the area, it's a good place to check out.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So you mentioned the balancing and the like doing the kids thing and figuring out how to keep up with it. Like, how do you balance that? And like, what is like, how much are you in the studio versus balancing the home life and stuff like that?
In the studio right now, I get maybe 24, 25 hours a week, if everything goes well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And nobody's sick. Yeah, it's, for me, I'm really lucky. I have a really great support team around me. My parents watch the youngest. My husband watches them all the time. My husband's amazing. We've got a really great babysitter. I don't know if you know Kirsty.
Yeah.
Kirsty watches my little monster one day a week, and then pitch hits for my mom if mom has to bail out. But it's a lot of just juggling around.
Yeah. So your schedule of like when you're in the studio could vary between like the middle of the day to later in the evening, or is it kind of consistent?
If everything goes well. It's consistent for the day that it's supposed to be. So Monday and Friday, when everything goes to plan, my mom takes my youngest, who is the problem. He's the only one that's not in full-time school. She takes him from like 10 is when she frees up in the morning until it's time for his nap in the afternoon, at which point she takes him home and the teenage daughter takes over. She's amazing with him.
When she's home from school,
she's schooling from home now. So
right, okay.
Her schedule is kind of bizarre, where she doesn't have to be online unless there's actually a class going. So her schedule is really...
She's a 17-year-old.
Soon to be, yeah.
Soon to be 17, okay.
Yeah, so she doesn't have a standard 8 to 3 school schedule anymore. Yeah. So she takes over after nap time until my husband frees up. So Monday, Friday, I can be here from 10:30 until 5:30 or 6 when I have to head home for dinner.
So it's like your 2 full
Those
days
are my
a week.
2 full days. Tuesday, Thursday, the 3-year-old goes to morning preschool, so I get 2.5 hours on Tuesday and Thursday, as long as school is in session and nobody's sick at school, which is always, so far that's been fine. And then Wednesdays, he goes to the house of another woman that works here, like actually is employed by Queen City Clay. And babysitter Kirsty goes to her house and watches all of the children.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Because she's amazing. She's like
Wow,
Superman. It's amazing.
Like all of these kids?
There are 3 kids that she watches
That are from people in here.
that are,
One of Beth's kids.
yeah,
is that...
Beth's 2 boys and then my youngest.
That's nice.
So Wednesdays I have like 9:30 to 4. So it changes day to day.
So it's kind of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are your bigger days. And
Are
then
the bigger
Tuesday,
days.
Thursday, you get like little
I come
bits
in
of time
and like I can clean or I can come in and trim.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's as long as everybody's healthy. If one of the kids gets sick, then I stay home. In the before times, Kirsty and my mom both travel a lot, so that would be like we would just lose
tough.
days. And
So you won out on that one a little bit.
And then your teenagers
COVID's
at
actually
home
been good to
more
me. Me too.
during the afternoon, so you can kind of like
She jumps in
some
a
more time.
lot. Yeah, she's very money driven. So if she's happy to babysit when paid to babysit.
Kirsty is?
No, my
Your mom?
daughter.
Oh, your
my
daughter.
daughter is. Kirsty's
their
amazing.
sibling.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
yeah,
The
that's
teenager's
awesome.
like, yep,
Well,
if
it's
you
good
pay
that
me,
you
I'll
pay her.
babysit.
That's
Yeah.
a good driver.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's amazing with her brothers, so
That's really great.
she earns it.
Wow.
They're a handful.
Is she the only girl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, she's earned it by being born.
Just being born. Yeah. All those boys all around her. And then my husband is working from home now.
Yeah.
Just full time. He does all of his work from home. So
Yeah.
he has some flexibility with his schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those parents would have to like teach or like help their kids in school while they're at home, as well as like
Working.
younger ones that they have to keep entertained while they're trying to work at home. It's like I don't know how people
No.
do it. It's
The
crazy.
9-year-old is going to in-person school. The teenager is schooling from home. And then preschool's in person.
Yeah.
And they do temp checks and stuff like that just
Yeah.
as the kids go in. So far, we're good.
Oh, fingers crossed. Knock on glass.
Right.
Okay. By the way, if we ask a question that you're not personal talking about, or
No, you're fine.
with, let us know. As you said, your husband works, and is this like something that you're doing to pay the rent there, or are you making money doing it, or is it like prospectively for like a part-time kind of thing, or?
It's part-time for sure. hopefully when the youngest gets into school, I'll be able to devote a little more time to it.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I make covers my own rent, my own supplies, and then was like our vacation money.
Nice.
Pays for Christmas. It's the fun money.
It's the fun money. That's cool. That's a good little system.
Yeah, which is super for me, and I'm super lucky right now, especially
well, it's like a
that
win-win.
Yeah, we're not putting food on the table because I'm selling pots. So
Right,
I am very
but you
blessed.
are providing Christmas, and that's pretty bomb.
Yeah.
In past years, I have. I don't know if that'll happen this year, but my husband makes enough that,
Right.
you know,
It
we're
can support
we're
the
totally
family.
good on his money, and anything
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I make is just gravy.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's a good sweet spot to be, especially because it sounds like it's your escape anyway. So it's like nice to have that escape be a little help or a little fun. You know.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
So how is like the COVID situation shifted? I know just from knowing you that you've been kind of shifting away from the shows and stuff. Is that the main way that
Yeah.
you would sell?
Prior
on a
to this
typical
year, that's the only way that I would sell. I refused to have a website. I refused
feel
to
you.
sell through Instagram. I would not do it. Used to really piss off my husband because he's
Did it just
tech
pile
geek.
up at home, or he was
No,
he saw the opportunity
He
there?
saw the opportunity, and you know, when you go to shows, people always ask if you have a website because most people are smart enough to do that.
Or they just
And-
wanted like an easy out, like, oh, can I
Sure.
find this on your website?
I always tell
Right.
them, nope, I don't have a website, and I'm not going to be here
and
next
I'm
week.
not going to be here next week. So, yeah, he's been pushing the website because he's the IT guy, so that's more his sphere.
Yeah.
And he knows how well websites can go. But before this year, I never wanted to devote the time because it's a lot of maintenance.
It's a lot of time.
Too.
I
Yes.
spent the entire day yesterday working on our podcast website, the entire day. It would have spent a little less time if Ryan wasn't here, because then I would have done it all and then
Yeah.
sent it to him.
And you'd
But-
be like, does this look good?
No
Great.
interruptions, but it takes a long time, and the shipping takes a long time. I just never wanted to mess with any of it.
Yeah.
So I made what I made, and I took it to the shows that I got into, and I sold what I had, and then I was done, and I didn't have to deal with anything.
Yeah.
And it was
There's
really
not little
amazing.
like, oh, I got an order tonight, but I gotta I can't pack
Right.
it up, or it's gonna take me 2 or 3 days, or it's at the
Right.
studio and I gotta go to the studio to get it.
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah. But this year has kind of just screwed that all and thrown it all out the window. We decided way back to just not do shows this year at all.
Oh, good. So it was already a plan.
Well, once COVID hit, it was a plan.
Okay.
I went through a couple of months where, like Ryan knows, some of the big shows in
were
this
hopeful.
area canceled.
Yeah.
Where like you got in, you paid your fees, and then
It's gone.
you got the email. It's like, we're so sorry to have to tell everybody this. We are all so sad, but we are not going to have a show this year. And I couldn't handle the stress
Of the unknown, or the
Yeah,
just like,
just-
oh, I had plans, I was making stuff for that, and then
Yeah.
it's not happening.
It
So
was
like, what am
all
I
of
making
it.
for?
It was all of it. It was not knowing what to apply for, to keep my eye out for notifications on applications, to free up the money for the application fees and then booth fees, and then deal with it if the show got canceled and you have to get refunded, and all the hoops that we had to jump through
Yeah.
for all of that.
Everybody's figuring
And then
what out.
the production side of it, of like, do
Yeah.
I make nothing? Do I just close up shop? Do I make a
I feel
ton?
that. Totally.
So we just, I had a bit of a mental breakdown, and we just decided, like, no shows at all, because my husband went to all my shows with me. It was
Yeah, I remember
fantastic.
seeing
Oh,
that
Yeah,
all the
that's
time. and-
wonderful.
he always went to my shows. We'd sit, and it was like date night for us, because we've got 4 kids, so we don't go on dates.
Right.
And this
Day,
was like,
day and evening,
Yeah.
and
Day,
pack
day.
up, and then like
you know,
when
we'd
you get
make
home,
money,
it's like,
and we'd buy beer, and
And who isn't happy making money
Right?
and drinking beer?
it was fantastic.
Next, if you ever do shows again, you got to take a wine flask with you, or a beer flask, or whatever.
We always brought a cooler.
Oh, good.
But
And
I
don't
also
tell
always went to
anybody.
shows that had good beer, because we have breweries in the area
Oh
that,
yeah,
that all do
oh
shows.
your shows give beer, like you could drink there. Our
can
shows
drink there.
definitely
Yeah.
you cannot drink.
Oh, yeah, no.
So-
It's encouraged at most of the shows.
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
was
they'll have
at,
a beer booth, a local
Yes.
brewery or whatever.
if it's not actually
That's
at a
nice.
brewery itself. So yeah, it was fun, but not worth the stress. So this
Yeah.
is the year that I actually got on Instagram and started
This is
selling
your first
stuff.
year on Instagram.
Wait, how long? I feel like you've been on Instagram longer.
On, but not attentive.
Active.
Not attentive to Instagram.
You were awake on Instagram.
But not really present. Yeah, I was kind of sleeping in the corner. Got the website up this year. This is the first year I've had a website of any kind.
What is the website for people to look at?
That's pretty good for a year.
Yeah, because of weird people in the Pacific Northwest, I have 1,000 followers. I shit you not, that's the reason why.
Well, they are strange.
There are strange people in the Pacific Northwest.
I'll share your profile and maybe we'll get some more in the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you so much.
There you
Always
go.
appreciated. Yeah, it's been interesting. Everything's shifted this year. The stuff that I make has shifted. The way that I'm selling has shifted.
Yeah.
It's been...
So the more nature related and that kind of stuff
That's
is
all been
more present because of
yeah,
the Pacific
that
Northwest.
was not
Because of
present
this year?
at all. Yeah. Since it was pre-pandemic, but it's picked up since the pandemic. Maybe because people are home and shopping, and I
Yeah.
don't know. I never did any of that before, other than like the drinkware that you got from me. I've been doing for a long time.
Okay.
But the stuff that's got, see, nobody knows who I am. I do lots of...
What's your Instagram so people can look it up right now while we're talking, and then they can browse while we're talking about the nature
Gotcha.
stuff?
It's just Tryst Studios. Tryst. Tryst Studios. And right now I do lots of pieces with like mountain silhouettes carved on them, and I need to make more of those, I know.
Oh my god, it's
Becca's
like a flower
looking at my
frog,
Instagram right
but
now.
it's hanging.
But it hangs. There we go.
I got an order for flower frogs, and those suckers are kind of
They're
difficult.
tedious.
I've been hearing those lately, and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
That's
A
for dried
frog?
flowers.
Like what?
It's not a frog.
Is it like an older?
It's a cylinder. It's like an orb. It's an orb, a flat orb.
With lots of holes
With
poked
lots
in
of
it. Think
small
like a
holes.
berry bowl. And you can put individual stems through the holes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's for
And then I was thinking,
flower
like, when
arrangements.
somebody was explaining, I was like, are you talking about like a flower brick? Because I've heard of those.
Sort of, but those are more like multiple tiny vases usually, and
Yeah.
the holes on frogs are literally a stem can go through. They're a right pain in the ass.
So you're doing more of the mountainous stuff. That's kind of where. Have you traveled a lot to go hiking and stuff?
I started
or
doing
where
that
did
because
come
I have a
from?
nephew. My sister and her family live in Portland, Oregon, and my nephews, who are teenagers now, and their dad got into climbing. And my older nephew is not a materialistic person, so he's impossible to shop for.
Yeah.
And last Christmas, I pestered my sister until she finally said, I don't know, like, he loves his mountains, make him some cups, put mountains on them.
Like make something. Yeah.
Yeah. And they loved them.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, I made him a
course
set of
they
cups.
loved them.
Well, it's been a very weird, organic progression of,
I love
of
that.
things.
So did you share them on social?
They did.
that it
I
was
had
custom?
nothing to do
Oh.
with it. This was the kind of, I don't ever want to put pictures on my pots. Like prior to this year,
Yeah.
I resisted it completely. It's been a lot of that this year, of doing things that I refused to do last year.
feel you.
It's fine. You know, we all cave at some
It's
point.
fine.
They put them up in a climbing group
Okay.
that they're in on Facebook, just because they thought they were cool. And then
Open the
I
floodgates.
I started getting messages on Facebook and through Instagram of, hey, I saw this picture in this climbing group that I'm in. Do you make this stuff?
Were you a little bit pissed?
No, because
Okay,
I
that's
wasn't
good.
I wasn't doing shows and I needed to make money. So it was like, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Sure. So that's the majority of the business now is custom orders from random people, largely in the Pacific Northwest, though a couple from other areas, who want specific mountains put on like coffee cups and beer steins and stuff, which led to a whole other weird subgroup of people that are out in the Pacific Northwest of dog people.
Oh yeah.
Because I had a gal who messaged me and said, I've been, stalking the Instagram and I love the mugs. Would you ever do this on a dog bowl?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And that's where all the followers came from, because she's a brand ambassador for like dog treats, and she posted her dog bowls up. And then one of her followers said, oh, I've got dogs. I need big dog bowls. They're like huge, Ryan. Like they're these are
I've made 'em.
Rhiners. They're
I've made
huge
'em.
dog bowls with like slow feeder baffles in them. And she was a brand ambassador for stuff, and like 200 of my current followers came from a giveaway I did with her. With an extra bowl that I had.
Damn.
Because it's the strangest thing. This has been a weird year.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of dog enthusiasts who also
Yeah.
like to climb mountains with their dogs.
Well, it's very like
So-
specific, and they'll see it every day, and it's like pretty and decorative. It's better than just like a random bowl that they're.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. So I live in Washington.
So you
and-
know. Bunch of weird
Oh, I
people.
know. But more importantly, I sell my main show is in Leavenworth, Washington, which is a mountain town that's a Bavarian mountain town that literally has a parade for dogs in it.
I need to move to Washington, apparently.
Every
I'd make a
year.
killing here.
Oh, you would make a killing. If you brought those mugs, you'd kill it.
So am
But like so, and when you say like specific mountain ranges, I have a friend who's literally a painter, and she paints specific mountain ranges in her style and sells them at the same show I do, and she just smashes. And it's because like, well, the enchantments are up there. It's right by the enchantments.
What is that?
And
Mountain
the
range,
enchantments,
yeah. Oh.
enchantments are one of the most like. I think it's like
Beautiful
the 8th
mountain
wonder of the world or
ranges
something.
and-
It's like they say it's like right after the 7 wonders of the world or
Okay.
whatever. You have to have there's a lottery for actually hiking the enchantments every year, and you
Wow.
have to get a ticket from the lottery
Ooh.
to be able to hike it so that it's not so.
You could be like,
packed.
you need this ticket, or else I won't make you a mug with
Right.
this.
I haven't been asked to do these yet. This surprises me.
Yeah, so, and Kolchak and all these other mountains that I've been trying to figure out the names of, and because I'm not a mountain person. But yes, my point being, mountains and dogs surprisingly do go together, and it is so weird to me, and I didn't understand it until I moved to the Pacific Northwest.
It's a thing.
In this town, 1 out of 3 people have a dog
That they take everywhere.
that they take everywhere.
Yeah.
It is
Jeez.
like, and one of my really good friends, she has a dog that she takes literally everywhere, and it's just like that's just the thing.
It's the
Apparently.
way. The mountain people love
mountain
their dogs.
people.
They will spend big money on dog
They
bowls
will.
with mountains on
Their
them.
dogs are their
That's crazy.
kids.
So
Yeah.
how are you handling it's all like cut, your whole your whole like workflow right now is all customs, it seems like, right? Because you just put a call out.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some things that I just make and sell, but all of the mountain stuff is custom because people want the specific mountain.
Right.
I did a few where I just did mountains that were popular.
Have you ever drawn mountains before this?
No.
Yeah. It's like just like kind of
No.
fell into your
It-
lap.
It was literally the random thing of what do I give my nephew who wants nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. He
That's
likes
amazing.
mountains. Put some mountains on a cup, and he'd probably
And I like the
love that.
subtleness of the like dark, and it's very like it's
They're
very
silhouettes,
minimal.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all silhouettes, and people. That's how I do all the custom stuff. People send me a picture. In some cases, because I've gotten really specific. Like, can you do this view off the back deck of our vacation house? Like, it can get really specific.
Like a railing, and then like
Right?
or, like,
yeah, it's there. Yeah, some really specific stuff. Where like we went on a hike on our engagement trip. You know, like this is
Right.
where we got engaged. Can you do these waterfalls? Like, sure. Send me a picture.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get in Lightroom and I screw around with the picture until it's super high contrast, and
Yeah.
then trace it, and then it just transfers into a silhouette that I trace onto whatever clay item they have decided
Yeah.
they need a mountain or waterfall.
Yeah.
Can we talk about your process a little bit? Because
Sure.
that I saw the stencils that you had that you I almost forgot to turn the fan off. And what is it? Is it cut out and then you're just like kind of like doing that and then you're carving it?
I carve them in the clay, yeah. The current process sucks and needs to be revised. I'm trying to find a way to do transfers that don't involve silk screens because I don't want a whole nother process. So
Right.
I don't know, maybe printing onto carbon paper. I don't know. Right now I have stencils
we'll
that
talk
are...
after.
There you go. They're just drawn on paper, and then it's literally like taking a ballpoint needle tool, like teeny tiny little ball tool,
Yeah.
and tracing it onto leather hard clay to get the indentation just through the paper.
Yeah.
And then I carve from that. But it takes forever and it's giving me carpal tunnel. So I need to find a way that doesn't involve tracing all these tiny little
So having
lines.
something fit like a screen printer, something that's on there, you'll just use that around it, and then you'll just carve out the dark parts that's already on there. Kind of.
What I would like is something that would work like a transfer, so that I can put it on the clay, get it wet, get an outline transferred on, and then I can carve from there. But everything's carved, and then it's not an underglaze, it's the manganese wash, just so there's a little metallic sheen to it. But
okay.
it's all just silhouettes.
Yeah.
Nice. So how is the pricing of that going? Like, how did you figure out the right way to price it? Because obviously there's demand for it, so figuring out pricing always sucks for
Pricing sucks.
makers.
Yeah, I suck at pricing. I'm not sure that my pricing is really where it should be, but I look at material costs, but like in clay, materials don't really cost
I
that
don't
much.
look at material costs really.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Is it like a cup with no carving is $45, and then it's like, okay, if they want this mountain range, I know it's going to take about this much, so it's like $65.
I do a flat, unless they're asking for something really weird, and I have had people ask for really detailed things. But right now, if it's a mountain mug that has one mountain on it, 12-ounce mug is $48, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 16 ounces are $52, and I think it's $45 for an 8-ounce. If they add a mountain, I add a little, because some people want something on both sides.
Yeah.
The big dog bowls were $100 each.
Because they should be. You could put those at $150 and they'd still buy them.
I know, they're too cheap. But I get into this whole, I really don't want aspirational work.
I feel
I
you.
want people to be able to afford it and use it.
Right.
and
Totally feel you.
Not freak out when they use it, because
That's
I
what
have
I'm-
pots
yeah.
where I spent a shit ton of money to buy that cup, and now I'm afraid that my kid's gonna break it, so I never use it, and I don't
Yeah.
want to make that kind of stuff.
It's so funny the predicament that we get into, because that's exactly why my pottery is $25.
Right.
You know, it's like I especially live in an area where no one is willing to pay more than $20 on a coffee mug. Well, there's a few people, but
it's not enough to build
and
a business on. Yeah,
I've slowly worked them up. You know,
Yeah.
started at 18, moved my way up. I've gotten yelled at for selling it for 16. You know, and it's funny because I think that I would imagine most potters come into the game thinking, I really want people to use my pieces. That's because that's something that's so special to us. And most customers see our pieces, no matter the price, and say, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful. I could never use
it's a precious
that."
thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'll just make you a new one. It's fine. And
Right.
so we have this back and forth with our customers, but it is hard to find that nugget, that special price that is, I'm still
Yeah.
gonna use it. Me, I could spend $150 on a mug and I'm still gonna use it, and if I break it tomorrow, then I break it tomorrow, but that's because I don't have that sentimental value.
Right.
But a lot of people do. And I would never buy a mug for $150, by the way.
But just as an example.
But just as an example, I've used my $95 Tom Coleman mug for popcorn. So
I almost feel like the custom stuff, especially the extra logistics and the legwork that happens with the back and forth,
Yeah.
that is valued at some price too, besides just making it. So you almost
a
have to tack
consultation,
on
a
a $10
consultation
fee just for that.
Yeah.
Of taking the order online, because I'm sure once you get the order, do they fill out everything on the website with the order?
No, the website doesn't get that detailed. Weebly, my website is hosted through Weebly, and it doesn't allow you to get as detailed as I would want to.
are you through? Okay. Oh, we just went over this last night, so we're going to talk about it really quickly.
Sure.
Okay, did you get your website through Weebly? And then is it connected to Square, or did you get it through Square and then connect it to Weebly?
I went through Weebly because I already had Square. So I looked at a couple of different ways to go about getting a website up.
For something that integrated with Square.
Yeah, and I didn't want to use any of the the go-betweens, because you have to pay for a lot of them. That
Right.
The
things
integration
that'll,
parts, yeah.
that'll integrate Square. And because I don't have a lot of time to make stuff, and I tend to make things that take me far too long,
Right.
I just don't have a huge inventory to maintain a show inventory versus an internet inventory, and I hope to God we do shows again someday. Though I'm getting used to not doing them now. I wanted something that would take it out of inventory immediately.
Right.
If we were
Yeah.
at a show and something sold, that it would automatically go off the website because I don't have, 15 of something.
Oh, so you have each individual piece at a show in your inventory. If it's like a very specific piece, I'm guessing, versus like
The typical stuff that I have, I very rarely make multiples of a single thing.
okay,
So on the couple of things that I make just runs of, like some of the drinkware, I can, go in and have 16-ounce Pilsner, and I've got 10 of them. And
in a
that's
certain
fine.
color combo, or just
Right.
like quantity.
Right. Well, I'll break those into glazes if I was in shows, but right now it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I just have them sitting as bisqueware ready to be glazed for whoever
Right.
orders one, and then I don't have to maintain the inventory.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff is individuals. Like the planters that I do are usually carved or slip trailed or decorated in some way that it's like, that's it. That's the one that I made. And
Yeah.
once it's gone, it's gone. So I wanted something that was going to pull that out of inventory as soon as it's sold, whether it's sold online or sold at a show.
Yeah.
Right.
So that I was not likely to get into a situation where two people bought the same thing and then I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I have Weebly through Square as well. But we found out last night that Ryan has Weebly, but he didn't do it through Square.
I don't have Square
And
integrated
his is
with it.
so much more user-friendly than mine is.
For the person creating the website.
For
Yeah.
the
'Cause
person,
you
like,
can-
it's so not limited, and mine's super limited.
Yeah.
So I was kind of pissed last night when we found out.
I can agree with that because mine is integrated.
It is integrated,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you have to go through Square and then you hit online and it goes to Weebly. That's how
I can
it,
do
but-
that, or I can go directly to Weebly.
But
and
it's
it
nice
pulls up.
through Square.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. Cool.
Yeah. So the custom orders are super basic. I have a
So they're
listing.
picking a mountain range and a form, and that's mainly it.
What I have right now is just, this is all got to get revamped somehow when I have the brain power to do it. Right now I just have a listing up for a custom deposit, and regardless of what they're ordering, there's a $25 deposit.
Yeah.
Whether it's a $100 dog bowl or a $28 cup, you put down $25. You leave a note in the checkout of what you're ordering, and then everything outside of that is either through Instagram, since a lot of the buyers are Instagram followers, or through email for, let's
that's
talk specifics.
That's some time right
So
there.
now,
that comes up.
now it should, like, you could do a $25 consulting fee, go through the whole thing, and then charge $45 for a month.
No,
I'm
the
kidding.
deposit goes towards it.
Yeah.
What I'll probably do is start just streamlining the forms that people can order from and
Yeah.
do custom mug, pick 8, 12, 16 ounce,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then maybe still have a listing up there for people that want to order random things like dog bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that you would ever go to, like, I know you're doing specific mountains right now, which I think is super
I do whatever
niche.
mountains people want me
Yeah,
to do.
that's like
So-
super niche, right? Because not very many people are doing like very specific ones. Do you have any generic mountains that you like are looking for in the future that you would like kind of have as like a
just a more general design.
yeah?
I started doing some, I haven't sold any yet because they're not even through firing, for the next update that I can pull off.
Yeah.
I have a camp scene
Oh, nice.
with a mountain in the background. There's an A-frame. They're on the Instagram if you
Yeah.
find them in there
On
somewhere.
Instagram.
There's like an A-frame scene that's got sort of generic trees, mountains kind of thing that are just more generally outdoorsy that the mountain people seem enthusiastic about.
That waterfall one you did is super cool.
Yeah, that was for my husband.
Well, lucky
That's
him.
a specific waterfall out in Oregon.
Yeah, the one at
Multnomah.
Multnomah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
I'm working on some more generic, just, hey, you like the outdoors, I
Yeah.
bet you would like this kind of thing. But people are happy to wait, like,
That's awesome.
That's good.
yeah.
As long as you're not getting like the pestering of like, hey, I got this custom. Like, when's it? How do you communicate the timing and stuff with them? Do you just give them
In the
a
deposit
set?
listing, I tell them it'll be at least 8 to 10 weeks, and then I just try to maintain some communication with people if it's going to be longer than that. It's usually finished faster, so it's not a huge problem.
Right.
I've only had one person that was just really enthusiastic. She was just really excited
So
to
excited.
get something.
Yeah.
And still hasn't gotten it. She finally did get the hint when I said, we're only about 4 weeks into year 10, so it's still going to be a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Please be
adorable.
patient. Yeah.
Please be patient. And she wasn't being nasty or anything. She was just really stoked to get her dog bowls. She's excited about this.
Right.
So,
That's funny.
I know. It's a very strange world that we're living in right now.
Yeah, that's true. You don't ship those dog bowls, do you?
Oh, yeah. I ship them to the Pacific Northwest. That's where all my stuff is going.
Well, if you have
I have
anything
very few local buyers right now. They're all like Oregon, Washington.
Yeah. I wonder how that's gonna. Because once you get back to like shows and stuff, how is that gonna split your time between where the demand is with something that reaches an audience that's outside of the local area versus things that are attainable and priced?
I
This
think we'll
area.
probably do fewer shows when shows pick back up.
Yeah.
Because in the before times when I refused to sell online, I would do the little like fun monthly shows that we have around. That would be like
Like the City Flea and the off market. and
City
stuff
Flea,
like that.
off market. Yep, the little monthly shows that were lower earners. But regular customers and people would look for you. And
Yeah.
then do maybe one a month of like the bigger shows that are once a year. So I would do 2 shows a month. That's all I could have the
that's pretty
capacity
consistent
for.
though.
Yeah, it was fine. What I'll probably do moving forward is only do bigger shows and drop some of the smaller stuff.
Yeah, some
so
of those
that
are
I
hit
can
or miss
maintain.
anyways, so it's
They
like,
really are.
is
Yeah.
it worth your whole Saturday to make $500 or whatever?
Right. And I still, for the most part, even the little shows were 1,000 plus.
Nice.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah. But
I need to step it up. I'm
I'm
making my
like-
way up.
Like in my area, a little show is like $300. That's like because it's just the market for my stuff is just not out there. If I had mountains on my mugs, I'd probably be
you
making
probably
a shit
it's
ton,
living
but-
where you live. Yeah,
but-
you'd
but
probably
it-
be okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely so. I think that's interesting, especially. It's tough to be in a market that you're not really familiar with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not.
You mean
really,
she's making mountain mugs, and
Yeah,
even though
she's
she doesn't
making
live there?
mountain mugs, even though you don't live there, and it can pose some challenges in the future, especially with like marketing and stuff like that, because a lot of people that sell mountain style stuff are out hiking every weekend in the Pacific Northwest or
Yeah.
something like that, and it's like I'm in the Pacific Northwest where everybody hikes, and I don't hike.
Just have no interest.
I have like no interest in that, and well, I can't anyway because I have a bum ankle. But like, I just don't connect to the aesthetic of the land almost.
No.
And that can be kind of tough to like navigate. You have to get creative with your like the way you kind of market things, but
Yeah, or get creative with where you sell the stuff that
Yeah.
you. Because I do definitely resonate with that aesthetic. Even before I started carving mountains into things, which I would never have agreed to do before this year.
right.
The stuff that I made still had like a pretty organic
Yeah.
feel to
Definitely.
it that I honestly don't know that Cincinnati people really got.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
like,
kind of
no,
like
yeah, definitely. Like your
You know?
stuff, I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, she looks.
it's kind of
very
like Ren.
similar,
It's kind of like
earthy
Ren
to-
Fair,
yeah.
sort of like some of the textures and the
Yeah,
like.
it's a
Hippie.
a lot of texture pulled from driftwood and mushrooms.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not at all a hippie, but it's the vibe that I resonate with, I guess.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not at all what my pieces are, and that's what.
It's a weird thing.
And
right?
yeah, I don't match my. I don't feel like I match my pieces, but it's also we talked about this. I do whatever's easiest. So
Whereas I find the hardest way to do anything and go, let's make 10. It's okay.
yeah, I mean
Well, it's
that's
like your
what we are.
detail and like even those. I think you're doing the teapots, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I've never seen a teapot like that. Like that, I wouldn't.
That's the.
But I wouldn't know what to
bomb-ass
call that.
teapot.
Check out the ones that are are in there, the Bisqueware ones.
I will.
I went a little batshit crazy on carving some of those.
Let's describe the teapots. So the teapots are...
They're individual, like, single serving, maybe 2 cups, little pots that look like a half dome.
Half bowl. A bowl.
Yeah. Basically a bowl with a flat lid, and then the cup is the other half of the dome, and it sits on top. So if you look at it assembled, it looks like a cannonball with a spout.
Yeah.
Did you make that, or did you see that somewhere?
No, they're actually really popular. I don't even know how I ended up finding this, because I'm a coffee drinker 100%. I never drink tea unless I'm sick. They're travel tea sets that are super
European.
Common. No, Chinese.
Chinese. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
Especially because they're more of like a bowl style of cup anyway.
And I saw a picture of one years ago. I think every maker I know has like things that they've been meaning to get around to for years.
And there's no handle, which is like so
There's no
wonderful.
handle, because you can just pick it up and hold the lid down with one finger. And
so the whole thing holds like 8 ounces or like 10
8
ounces?
to 10.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Something like that. The first one that I made was too big to comfortably hold.
Yeah.
So I shrank them down a little bit in this iteration, and I don't know how much they'll hold now.
Do you enjoy making them?
No.
Don't make them. I'm just saying.
Or price them higher so you don't, so it deters you from making them unless it's worth your money to do it.
Yeah, I can price them higher than I priced the first round. I enjoy making them in the sense that I like sometimes to torture myself with doing things that are really persnickety and challenging, and I fuck them up a lot, and then I have to go back and I have a little masochistic streak in me that likes to do that, which is why the latest one is completely carved top to bottom. Took 45 minutes to carve the whole thing for this little like 4-inch wide, 5-inch wide teapot.
Yeah. Well, all your stuff is like so detailed, and it's like, it's not like other people's stuff that I've seen. I mean, I see the carvings, but like the glaze work, and then the like detail of like what you're doing after it's off the wheel, like
lots of altering,
and then you've got a
lots
balance
of carving,
of different ranges of styles too. I think we talked a couple weeks ago about finding your style, and like, do you make more of the simple stuff like the wobble mugs, where it's like, okay, I can give my hand to rest a little bit without like mountain carving, but like you can
even
do
those are textured on the bottom, like the base of the wobble
God,
mugs
the texture on the bottom. I actually picked it up not knowing that it was you, and off of his little mug shell theme. We were talking about all the mugs.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing.
I didn't have a wobble mug, but you picked up
I picked up one with a
Pilsner
texture on the bottom, and I was like, this is great.
I'm a touchy, tactile person. I'm the obnoxious person that can't walk through a store without touching everything, which is really challenging right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything's got texture. I have a really hard time making stuff that I don't have to texturize in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Minimal stuff is a mental challenge for me that I force myself to do sometimes.
Yeah, because you got to find the balance between like drawing attention to the texture or the like design versus the glaze, so that it doesn't overwhelm it.
Yeah.
But the glazes are also like so detailed and like
drippy,
so many
lots of
layers, and like finding the right combos and all that kind of stuff. That like.
Did you ever consider having a studio at your house versus here? And like, what was the thought process for that? I mean, I feel like you'd think I feel like.
I used to have
here.
my wheel in my living room.
Okay.
When I was early on in selling, like the second year that I sold, we had the wheel set up next to the fireplace, and I would dry pots out on the front porch.
Wow.
And
bring them out here.
I worked out of and brought them here to fire. Because that was pre owning a kiln.
Yeah.
I need the separation.
Yeah.
I really have a hard time. I think I could have a studio in the garage kind of thing,
or like
a
an outbuilding.
detached garage, something that was separate from the house. And if we ever get like, let's build our forever home dream setup kind of thing, we will probably move to the Pacific Northwest and get someplace that has enough property that I can have a studio on
save your pennies now.
Property, right? It's so expensive. But I can't do it in the house with the
Yeah.
kids and the dog, and it just
Yeah.
Separation of like, hey, mom is home, but she's like
But
busy
I am-
and she's
yeah.
not available.
Yeah. Even taking stuff home, just this past week or two, I've taken some slab stuff home to work on ornaments and coasters and that kind of thing. And even just doing that in the house it's distracting, and I'm not fun to be around because I don't multitask with this kind of stuff very well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. That's healthy that you know that, and that it's, you know, it's so interesting how everybody's life is so different. You know, like a lot of people, their wheels are in their kitchen basically,
Yep.
or right in their living room, and that's how they like it, and that's what they do, and they like being home and like around everything that they have. I found out that I cannot be in the same space as mine, like not even in the same house almost, because I get distracted. Like he's in the same house, it works great for you.
Yeah. And when you were like here this week and we were trying to like be in the studio at the same time, I was like, I cannot focus because I'm drawn this way to give you attention for this question or whatever, and
Right.
it pulls me off of like what I was thinking about. So I was like, if I was in a studio like this, like I feel like I couldn't be as focused and like get as much production done.
That's why I'm off in a corner of the studio
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Oh, it is
nobody
hard.
sees me.
Yeah.
Nobody knows I'm there. They turn the lights off on me all the time.
Yeah.
It's still secluded for sure. being
Yeah,
here.
for sure. I mean, yeah, like in my studio, I had to build a separate studio within my 3,000 square foot studio. I have a studio smaller than yours.
That's just your space.
That's just my space. And I mean, it doesn't have my kiln in there or anything, but like, it's because I get so distracted. And like, if anything is around me, the walls are bare, everything is bare. And,
Yeah.
I'm not quite that bad. I just
You need,
can't
like,
have
a
a 3-year-old
spot
coming
to
around
relax
and
and,
saying, "Hey, can I
Space out and like focus on
you
something.
have the mom ability to have a little bit of distraction. You I feel like moms
Possibly,
always get, like
There's a
gain that
degree
ability.
of,
Yes, it's
of multitasking that
yes,
can happen.
that is
Yeah.
necessary for being a mom. So
Yeah, I was fine before it was a business, but I can't juggle stuff now.
how are you doing with like paying taxes and like the business end and stuff like that? Is that a struggle for you, or is that something that you like comes like, are you analytical in that way? Or?
I am not. It's always a struggle for me.
Okay.
I am very fortunate to have a geek husband who,
Yeah.
just like, we'll file jointly.
Like systemize it.
Give
a
me your
little bit.
phone. Let me see what you sold. Let me see what you did.
Yeah.
And he takes it all from there. I'm super right-brained in that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
It's hard
good.
to keep track of that. And I've talked to like a couple people is like, here's what I do, but it's like that's too overwhelming. Like if I had talked with you about like what I did, I think we talked about like maybe getting together and like show you what I do. But
If
it's
you
like
showed me what you did,
it's
it
like
would
so
be
overwhelming.
Yeah.
But
the
it's like-
spreadsheets, and I just...
I could never do a spreadsheet ever.
I just fill out forms
I
and
just
then
put
it
in
goes
QuickBooks
into a
and they take care
spreadsheet,
of
so I
it.
don't have to touch the spreadsheet directly. But
Yeah, I can't even
it's
have a
lot of-
spreadsheet. It's too much.
It's a lot of stuff to keep up with. So at least cutting down to you're doing like the show money and then like the online. You don't have like, do you have stuff in shops or other streams of income like that?
Starting to this year, yeah. I've got a couple of wholesales, so that's going to be... Though even those, I'm trying to ring through Square so that it's still...
You can send invoices
Yeah.
through Square, which is really convenient.
Yeah.
Still tracked.
It's still tracking within the same system.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend keeping everything within one system as much as possible, because
Yeah.
once it gathers and spreads out, it's so confusing
PayPal
to
and the
deal with.
Venmo and like I can take it here and then it all goes in the account, but it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got a log that I got that one from PayPal and that one from Venmo and
Yeah, I don't
Can't
use
do it.
PayPal or Venmo for business.
Yeah, it's hard
and
to-
it's-
it's like good for the customer to give them convenience because like I use this versus like give me your email and I'll invoice you and then
Yeah.
Square's gonna take a fee, so it's like
Well, now
for the
have you-
convenience.
now have you used the new Square sales thing? We talked about it the last episode.
No.
We just released. Square has a new online payment process. So if you have something in your inventory and somebody, like, let's say Ryan's like, hey, I really want to buy this mug that you have, and you already had it in your inventory on your website, you can download, so you put it in your cart just on Square on your phone, and then you can copy the link. It says online checkout. You can copy the link and send it to them, and if you have it on your website for shipping, it will charge them shipping, and it will import all of the information into Shippo, and so you can just ship it, but that way they don't have to necessarily buy it off of your website. You can just send them the link if they're like talking to you via email or anything like that, and that way they don't have to like.
They'll just fill out their payment info and then it'll just do an
and
order
if
right
it's
there.
like pickup, then that's fine too. But it is a little bit easier. Isaac Shoes showed me that it's very convenient. I've done Instagram sales that way because I had it on my website, and they were like, I want this one, and then I just send them that link, and that way they get everything taken care of, and I don't have to deal with it.
And it gets their shipping info, so you don't have to be like...
Yeah.
Yeah, the shipping part's hard, too. I think we were talking on a separate occasion about, like, shipping flat rate versus, like, knowing the different varied prices of shipping so that you're not overcharging them, and, that's
I just do it all through the website now.
Yeah.
If people on Instagram want to buy things, I tell them to go to the website.
And you have to create a listing for it, or you only sell stuff
only sell stuff through the website.
Going to be on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to, like... I have this thing I got out of the kiln, and they are interested in it. So, like, there's money that's there to take. And it's like, I could just, like, figure it out. But I don't want to, like, create a listing and all that stuff. But
yeah, that's why I don't want to do the shipping either. I just do a flat rate and just add it into the back end. Usually, figures itself out, but it's tough.
All the logistical issues of. This is why I never wanted to have a website.
And now you're stuck.
Literally, no one can blame you for that.
Right.
Like, it is so much work.
Never wanted it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so you can get home and get time for time for your kids before they go to bed and all that. We'll wrap up here. How can people find you on social? What's your website? And then
Instagram is the best. I'm hardly ever on Facebook with the business stuff. So Instagram at Tryst Studios, and then the website is tryst-studios.com.
How do you spell Tryst?
Tryst.
Why is it Tryst? Wait,
Yeah,
where do they come from?
There are multiple avenues. One I will tell you about off mic. But it does allude to my courtship, so to speak, with my husband. But also the fact that this was my getaway.
Yeah.
If you go, nobody knows what tryst means anymore.
I don't know what that is either.
Okay, so a tryst is usually like a clandestine kind of meeting, stolen moment kind of thing. There's a romantic connotation to it, usually. But the business started with stealing moments from my regular work schedule, because I used to work real jobs. And kids and family, and it was stealing time away. And
That's
it kind of spun out of that. And it still is. It's the escape.
It's still applicable.
Still applicable.
And plus the mountains kind of relate to that, where it's like getting away from...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It was all meant to be.
Yes!
All right. Well, thanks for being here, Amy.
Sure
and
thing.
everybody can check your stuff out. It's really great.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next time.
Yep. Later.
Bye.
Bam. Right on.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.